Excuse me? A Bloomberg analyst is sounding the alarm here. Bitcoin could quickly drop to 10,000 US dollars now. If the US stock market falls, I expect that Bitcoin and most cryptocurrencies will lose a zero, possibly even faster than they added the last zero since 2020. Excuse me, is the Bloomberg analyst actually serious about this? Let's take a look at that. Also, Michael Saylor is now being added to the Bloomberg Top 500 list. Funny coincidence, on the very same day that Bloomberg predicts Bitcoin will drop to 10,000 US dollars, Michael Saylor makes it onto Bloomberg's Top 500 list of the richest people. But we also have some bullish takes here. Jordi Visser says that Bitcoin is going to shock us in the coming months and that the Bitcoin price could rise much faster than most people expect. We have massive manipulation of US inflation data, labor market data, and so on, which we need to take a closer look at. But first, let's smash the like button below for freedom, peace, decentralization, and higher Bitcoin prices, so that the epic crash down to 10,000 US dollars can be avoided. But let's take a look at the logic behind this potential crash that's supposedly heading our way. And as I said, this is Bloomberg we're talking about here. This isn't some kind of, Mickey Mouse analysis firm or anything like that. These are actually the top professionals, the ones in suits, the really serious folks. People in suits, shirts, and ties who can even afford t-shirts and a haircut. And when these guys preach something, we really need to pay close attention. But first, here's a very, very interesting chart that clearly shows just how screwed the entire economy is right now. It took the United States 220 years to reach $1 trillion in debt. Today, another trillion is added every 5 months, so 220 years to reach $1 trillion back then, versus just 5 months now. That's honestly pretty shocking. We'll get to Saylor and Bloomberg in a moment and their analysis about Bitcoin crashing. But now we've got a few more numbers here because we always have all these ECB people, the central banks, the Federal Reserve, who rely on the official economic figures. And now even the Kobayashi letter is delivering a significant warning, stating that approximately 90% of highly experienced economists, so economic professionals, believe that all this data is entirely faked and LT. Break time equals 0.5s/ in GT. Just mere lies and deception. And LT, break time equals 0.5s/ and GT. Here, 89 out of 100 of the top economists are concerned about the quality of official US economic data. And 41 of them say they are very worried about it. Folks, we really need to take a close look at this. What's going on here? A crisis of confidence in economic data? Given the negative net revisions to US labor market data, over minus 1.1 million since 2022, something isn't right. EU economic data is losing credibility. Shocking statistic of the day. In the US, the second longest period of job growth in US history, which lasted 53 months, has just officially ended. After 2 downward revisions of the June employment data, the US officially lost 13,000 jobs in June. The post-pandemic expansion phase is over. And I don't think I even need to go through all the data now. This is just my rough guidelines. Central banks are building on sand here, relying on data that gets revised that is incorrect. The GDP data, the inflation data are obviously also clearly wrong, the manipulation of the basket of goods, and much more. By the way, check this out. I've got a completely new screen here again, or rather a brand new screen protector, because people complained that the old one was all cracked. It was full of cracks. So I just had a new one put on by the guy at the Indian shop. I even wanted to give him a tip, and he actually told me no, he didn't want it. He said it was just his job to do this because I told him he did such a great job. I wouldn't have the patience to do that, to put the screen on so precisely. Yeah, it's really not that easy to, I don't even know how to say it, to fix or stick the screen on like that. So go ahead and drop a like here for the bullish Indian guy who fixed my screen. Anyway, now we have Michael Saylor here in the Bloomberg Top 500 Rich list, and Bloomberg is getting really, really interesting now. We can see here that Michael Saylor is included at rank 495 with just about 7.25 billion. And guys, I'm just going to make a bet now. In a year, Michael Saylor will probably be in the top 400, in 2 years in the top 300, and so on. And in 5, 6, 7 years, he'll probably be pretty high up here. I can really see that happening. If Bitcoin keeps performing well, which I expect, then things are going to get very, very interesting here. What's also interesting is Ricardo Salinas here in 494th place. He's someone in Mexico, the 3rd richest person in Mexico, who's currently in the process of selling almost all his real estate to go into Bitcoin. He openly tells people, sell your real estate, get into Bitcoin. He's a huge Bitcoin advocate with almost 100% of his liquid portfolio in Bitcoin. And these people, Ricardo Salinas, Michael Saylor, they're going to be the new top names on the rich list of tomorrow. Hold on a second, I'm getting a call. Yeah, hello? It's 2019. So I've got someone from 2019 on the line right now, actually the Bloomberg analyst here. Here, Mike Clone. And he really outdid himself this time. There was actually some serious backlash to what he posted here. You really have to see this for yourself. Here we go again, someone in a suit all dressed up with a tie. As long as you put on a tie and a suit, that's all that matters. And here's someone already posted, I don't understand Bitcoin, but I'm still bearish on Bitcoin. And with that, he's referring to this post here where he posts a chart that, of course, looks super professional, maybe from a Bloomberg terminal or wherever he got this chart from. Anyway, he made some kind of chart here, drew a bunch of lines, something in yellow, purple, white, and so on, and then added some text to make it look all professional. At the bottom, the main thing is that he lists some sources, of course, official sources from Bloomberg, which is honestly a shame seeing Bloomberg's name officially attached here. I mean, apparently they didn't see any reputational risk and still went ahead and published it. And here he actually writes, the introduction of Bitcoin in the wake of the Great Recession led to a sharp increase in cryptocurrencies. About 20 million are listed on CoinMarketCap and could be an important early indicator for risk assets. My chart shows that a normal reversal of the Bitcoin price could take it back toward $10,000. Here, and then down here is the chart, which honestly doesn't say anything at all. But he says here that the Bitcoin price could now fall to $10,000. You can already see it. There are more comments than likes, and people like Larry Leopard have commented below. Hey, to be honest, I would just delete this whole thing. This is really going to hurt your credibility, your reputation here. And of course, that comment has way more likes than the original post. Then people wanted to bet with him here on whether Bitcoin would really drop to $10,000. Seriously, if any of you want to make a bet, just send me an email or a DM or something. We can bet anytime. If someone here wants to bet that Bitcoin will go down to $10,000, then I just bet the opposite, that Bitcoin will hit $200,000 before it ever drops to $10,000. We can bet Bitcoin or something like that, no problem. I don't even have any Bitcoin, but I'd still take that bet. That comment is great, too. Great report. I just sold all my Bitcoin and now I'm shorting Bitcoin. Wish me luck, sir. That's pretty interesting, too. They're really putting out reports like that. That's totally ECB style. Sometimes you really have to wonder if this is intentional manipulation, deliberate spreading of false information, or a conscious effort to spread panic. And it actually goes even further. He even adds another one and says, hey, most commodities are falling because they went up. That's definitely a cool take. They're falling because they went up. Let's take a look. For example, you can tell here that this was generated with ChatGPT. You can always spot it by the long dashes. That's how you can catch someone who's not making their own content, if you see those ChatGPT dashes. That could also be Bitcoin's problem. Bitcoin is limited to 21 million, but competing cryptocurrencies are not. According to CoinMarketCap, there are currently about 21 million. Let's take a look here too. He's already been caught. Earlier, he wrote exactly the same text, only back then it wasn't 21 million, it was 20 million. So something doesn't seem to be working quite right with his ChatGPT. Compared to just 2009, there are now definitely 21 million cryptocurrencies. If the US stock market falls, I expect that Bitcoin and most cryptocurrencies will lose a zero. Back there again, those ChatGPT dashes. So a really, really nasty scenario is being predicted here. And again, this is coming from an official Bloomberg analyst. You could hardly make this up. It's possible that Bitcoin will drop faster than we think, faster than it gained its last zero since 2020. That means just as quickly as Bitcoin gained that zero, it could now lose it again. The funny thing is, Bitcoin didn't gain its last zero in 2020. Actually, when did we hit 100,000? Man, I have no idea, a few months ago. So it wasn't that long ago, not 2020. That means even the data isn't correct. So basically, everything about this is completely wrong. I mean, if you don't even know when Bitcoin last hit 100,000, and then you go and predict that Bitcoin will drop to 10,000, I mean, are we really supposed to take this seriously? But there's also Jordy Wiss, who was just on Anthony Pompliano's podcast, and he made a very, very bullish prediction about why Bitcoin could rise faster than most people expect. And that already sounds a bit more serious, like what you'd hear from a Bloomberg analyst. Check it out.
I still believe we are going to shock people in the short time, since for us double from 100 to or 95 to 200 by the end of the year is very unlikely, at least where it is now and where the implied vol is. So probabilistically, it's not there. I've been through this cycle before of innovation, and what I mean by that for everyone listening. So Bitcoin moves faster, and technology today moves much faster than it did in the past. What the Mag 7 accomplished from 2007 to today in 15 years, people have to go look.
Breathtaking.
Yeah, I mean, you went from 1 trillion to 15 trillion when you combine all that. This is going to take a lot less time. So Bitcoin's going to get to 15 trillion. It's going to happen. And I believe it's going to happen in much less time. The reason is because of artificial intelligence. So I started doing this because I like to speak a language where AI is in the middle of the traditional finance world and Bitcoin. And I wanted to bridge those two groups together and say, you have to understand that the fuel for moving money from this side to this side is going to take AI. AI will disrupt all investments on this side, which make them less investable, and gradually people will move into Bitcoin.
And that's why I think it's a really bold take. Bitcoin will reach a $15 trillion market capitalization here. That means right now we're at $2 trillion, so that's almost a tenfold increase, not quite, but still, and that's a really, really good take. Whoever says this, the catalyst that will accelerate it is AI. AI will disrupt the old business models and will move money from the analog world into the digital world. That's also what Michael Saylor always says, the transformation of the store of value, or the shift to a digital store of value from a physical, classic, traditional store of value. And just like the top S and AMP wink with tongue sticking out 500 companies have developed, Bitcoin will develop in the same way, but much, much faster, way faster than an Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, Google, Alphabet, or any of them. With Bitcoin, this will happen much, much faster, and that's what's so wild about it. Back then, no one really thought there was still a lot of potential left in Apple or Amazon and so on, and then it ended up surprising all of us. And that's exactly how it will be with Bitcoin. I mean, some people were able to anticipate it, but unfortunately, most people just couldn't. Back then, people also thought, okay, it's been years now, everything's over, it's way too late, the party's over. And what happened? Things still increased tenfold, 100-fold, and in some cases, even 1,000-fold. Let me know in the comments below how you see it. If you still want to buy Bitcoin, just drop a comment. You can also check out 21 Bitcoin. There's a link, and you can easily buy Bitcoin there. Use the code BitcoinHo to get up to 20% off the fees when buying Bitcoin. Highly recommended. Definitely check it out, guys. See you. Peace out.